Germany prepares to elect a new government on Sunday, tomorrow, with immigration emerging as a defining issue. Trent Murray, SABC News Correspondent, joins us live from Berlin. Trent, it seems to be the alt-right alternative with an endorsement from J.D. Vance and characters such as Elon Musk that is gaining momentum at the moment.
Yeah, that's certainly right. I mean, this is the Alternative for Germany party, they're called, the AfD. They're a kind of newer party on the political scene when you compare them to some of the legacy ones, and they are accused of being far right. They promote policies like mass deportations of immigrants, big crackdowns on law and order, and they're also quite anti-renewable energy. And it seems that some of those messages are resonating with some voters. They're currently placed second in the polls. They're sitting on around 20% right now. If that translates on voting day tomorrow, then it would be their best result ever, and it would double their vote share compared to the last election. So they certainly are garnering a lot of headlines, including from that very high-profile endorsement from Elon Musk. He dialed in from America to one of their rallies and said only the AfD can save Germany. Where the trouble will be, though, is that the other parties have effectively an agreement between them called the firewall not to work with this party. They say they're too extremist, too far right. They won't negotiate with them. So even if they do very well tomorrow, highly unlikely they will enter coalition negotiations. But they could be set up as the official opposition, which would really, I think, put wind in their sails, particularly over the next term of this government, if their leader, Alice Weidel, becomes the official opposition leader in Germany.
Yeah, Olaf Scholz, of course, is worried about his prospects with the CDU-CSU coalition potentially being able to retain government, but its stagnating economy and, of course, various issues around the role of Germany in NATO that seems to not be playing out favorable for the Chancellor. How do you expect that to resonate with voters? What have voters been expressing over the last few days heading up to tomorrow's polls?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be a real uphill battle for Chancellor Scholz to try and secure a second term. He's currently third in the polls on only around 16%. You just cannot form a government from that position. I thought it was very interesting because overnight he held a big rally in Cologne in the west of Germany. Now that is really kind of SPD heartland, or his party, the Social Democrat heartland. And for me, that kind of tells you he's trying to rally his base. He's not going to areas where there are swing voters. So I think that tells you the party is sort of gearing up for a bruising tomorrow night. The real winner we expect, certainly the polls suggest, will be this Christian Democrat Union, the CDU, as you say. That is the party of former Chancellor Angela Merkel. It's the legacy Conservative Party in this country. Its leader, Friedrich Merz, doing very well according to those surveys, placing about 31% according to the polls. So if that translates again tomorrow on voting day, that will put him in a strong position to form a coalition for him to be the next Chancellor. But we probably will have to wait a couple of days, maybe even weeks, I would imagine, while those coalition negotiations take place for what is effectively a government of national unity of different parties.
Yeah, it would have to be somewhat of a three-way coalition, it seems, because both CDU, CSU certainly wouldn't have enough. And if the firewall were to hold and to not form a coalition with AfD, what are the other options?
Yeah, well, and this is where, in many ways, Olaf Scholz became a bit unstuck, because when you're blocking out such a large proportion of votes from the AfD, you have to start making deals with parties that don't really align with you ideologically and politically. That Olaf Scholz's government collapsed for this very reason. He had environmentalist Green parties in the coalition, the Social Democrats, and then a very hawkish pro-business party, and they just didn't get along, which is why we're having this early election. I think what you'll probably see from Friedrich Merz is he will effectively have two choices from what we can see. One is either partner with Olaf Scholz's Social Democrats, you have a left-wing party there and a Conservative party, or he will have to partner again with the Greens, the environmentalists. Again, Conservatives, environmentalists, they're not exactly common bedfellows. So, look, a lot to see in all of this. That is just the nature of German politics. It's a big multi-party system, and there'll be a lot of horse trading for ministerial jobs and policies that we expect that over the coming days.
Trent, thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate it. Trent Murray is SABC's news correspondent coming to us live from Berlin. Tomorrow, the Germans will be heading to the polls.